The Wild Robot is a new animated film by DreamWorks. This studio is certainly not known for consistency. For each animated gem it releases at least two films that can be classified as crimes against humanity. I have not seen Kung Fu Panda 4, but I watched Ruby Gillman, and that movie was a potentially okayish Netflix TV series crammed into a very short film, short even for cartoon standards. The Wild Robot, however, is a different story. It is based on a children's novel by the same name written by Peter Brown, the novel that I got myself and read, so I will be comparing. First of all, The Wild Robot is certainly a kid's novel. The chapters are very short, it has simple illustrations made by Peter Brown, and he, the author, directly talks to the reader. Nevertheless, it was a nice read. Despite being written for younger children, the novel has a surprising amount of really dark stuff. Animals casually die, Rose experiences a lot of body damage. At one point she loses all her limbs. What disappointed me about the movie is that it juvenilized the story already written for kids even further. The recurring skunk joke was too much, it was repeated multiple times and it wasn't funny at all. Like with some big boss in the studio told animators to add the skunk gag, because little kids like such stuff. Do they though? The book, on the other hand, I feel treats its readers and parents, teachers or whoever else might read to a kid with much greater respect than the movie. The skunk gag came straight out of some cash grab like Baby Boss. Second moment I genuinely disliked is that the movie, for some reason, added some silly Hollywood cliches like Bright Bill being bullied by other goslings for being small and being raised by a monster. Bright Bill meeting a female gosling who doesn't bully him and tries to help him. None of that cliche stuff was in the book. The female gosling just appears in one scene and then she never comes back to screen again. I thought she would be helping Bright Bill and defending him from bullies since Ross cannot get into water without damaging herself. But nope, the female gosling just disappears while cliche bullies keep bullying Bright Bill, and when he leads the flock home after their leader gets pulverized, all these bullies of course respect and acknowledge Bright Bill. This is one of the most jarring Hollywood cliches, which the movie could certainly not use, since none of that happens in the book. Another thing that was done poorly is Bright Bill growing. One scene, he's just hatched and practically a toddler, falling asleep beside Ross. The next scene, it's already fall and the geese are preparing to leave the island. We don't actually see Bright Bill growing and Ross taking care of him. I personally didn't feel much emotional connection to Ross and Bright Bill, precisely because their story was too rushed, while the book actually takes its time to show how Ross is slowly turning from an AI robot with specific code to a caring mother. I think if Chris Sanders followed the original story closely, it would have been a better film. But to be honest, I really liked the movie despite its issues with pacing and gags. If there is one thing that Chris Sanders improved upon the original writing, is that he made the allusion to being marginalized clearer. In the film, Bright Bill is physically smaller than his peers. He can't even talk like a normal goose and copies Rose's manner of speech, which makes him sound strange and makes other animals avoid him. An obvious allusion to marginalization, physical disability, sexual orientation or anything else, choose whatever hits closer to home. This aspect was nailed. How Bright Bill feels like he doesn't belong, how Ross and Fink teach him how to live on his own, how Ross tells him to always be himself despite what other animals tell him. Some people are weird, not like the others, but that doesn't mean they don't belong. This is the simple idea that the movie and the book present. That no matter how we look, talk or where we come from, we can all peacefully coexist together, help each other out and even become good friends. The animation was really good. In the part where Fink tells the story to Bright Bill, the animation sequence is stunning. Nature, animals, colors, everything looks vibrant and pretty. The worst part to me were humans. They looked generic as hell. But luckily humans collectively have about 3 seconds of screen time. But seriously, human designs looked like the most generic CGI cartoon ever. baby boss, damn it. Why are humans so ugly in DreamWorks movies lately? Jeez, DreamWorks should focus on cute animals or mermaids instead. Fink looked so good and I couldn't even tell he is voiced by Pedro Pascal. Pascal speaks with a very noticeable Chilean accent despite growing up in the US, and in this movie I haven't heard his accent at all. He completely disappeared in this role. The final fight scene against the robots who came for Ross was really cool. In a novel, animals hunt down 3 robots one by one and take them down while they're searching for Ross. But in the movie it all turned into one epic battle against the whole squad of robots. Vontra is my favorite character in the film. I didn't know I could feel for a robot that looks like a jellyfish, but damn, her voice and her sass just gorgeous. Pardon me, I need to touch some concrete. Overall, the movie was pretty good. Couple of times I was literally on the verge of tearing up. It was that emotionally powerful. And despite struggling with pacing and some not really best writing choices, The Wild Robot still is a really good cartoon, although I, to be honest, thought it blew my mind even more. So, to a certain extent, I felt a tiny bit disappointed. However, I would still recommend watching it, one of the best animated films I've seen this year. It made me even more emotional than Inside Out 2. Not sure which film is better to me, I am very hesitant now, probably still Inside Out 2, but it's really close. Anyway, I'm glad that we're getting such decent animation recently. And one more thing, the ending of the film is less open than the ending of the book. It was a deliberate choice to ensure that if the movie bombs and sequels aren't greenlit, at least The Wild Robot will have a more or less satisfying ending. Subscribe and leave a comment, it'll help YouTube algorithm to spread my videos further, and have a good day. Now if you allow me, I'll talk about my plans for future videos on this channel. I feel like I should certainly talk about The Amazing Digital Circus. Recently I watched the 3rd episode, which was released this month. It was a Halloween episode. It was pretty dark and spooky. I definitely enjoyed it. I want to talk about this show. It's the most popular indie animated show in history. 3 episodes have combined over 500 million views on YouTube, which is a lot. I'll also make a video about Octavia from Hello Boss, Solus's daughter. I'll kind of continue my mini-series about Hello Boss. I really like her character. I think she's really cool, and she's really relatable to me. I can relate to her and her struggles with her parents and family, so I've been meaning to make this video for a while. I'll also make a video about Uzumaki, because I haven't read manga. I read some other Junji Ito stories before, but not Uzumaki for some reason. And it's actually one of the best horror stories, one of the most unsettling body horror stories that I've experienced. I've watched 3 episodes already, and despite having issues with animation, especially in the 2nd episode, it is still a really good story. So I'll release all these videos in the coming days. And thank you, and see you again.